Another important topic that occurs at the end of the Cold War era is the breakup of Yugoslavia. So after the death of Joseph Broz Tito, the Yugoslavian government decided to have a 1-year rotating presidency. And this provided for a lot of instability and weak leadership in Yugoslavia. And a man by the name of Slobodan Milosevic became the leader that took the most control. With Milosevic as leader, the Serbs tended to dominate the government and a lot of resentment grew. Serbs distrusted the Croats who had supported the Nazis during World War II. Many Serbs died during World War II as a result of this, and the Serbs blamed the Croats. So a lot of the ethnic groups were pitted against each other in the 1980s and the 1990s, where under the strong leadership of Tito, he did not allow for the different ethnicities to overtake one another on the Balkan Peninsula. He promoted more of a Yugoslavian nation rather than looking at the Croatians and the Serbians and the Bosnians. So here's a picture again of Joseph Broz Tito and a map of the Balkan Peninsula showing you some of the main ethnic groups that occupy that area. But there are many more than just what we see on this map. So let's take a look at Slovenia. The capital of Slovenia was Ljubljana. It is in the western and northern part of Yugoslavia. The predominant religion in Slovenia was Roman Catholic, and it was heavily influenced by old Italian history and culture. Slovenia was known for having a rich aristocracy, so very wealthy, and they represented about 8% of the Yugoslavian population. So here's a map, just letting you see that it does share a common border there with Italy and with Austria and with Hungary. Next up, we have Croatia. The capital of Croatia is Zagreb, and it is located in the western part of Yugoslavia. It is predominantly Roman Catholic as well. It is also known for being rich industrially and agriculturally, so it has a diverse economy, and it represents about 21% of the Yugoslavian population. The capital of Zagreb is known very well for people visiting in that part of the Balkan Peninsula. So here's a map of that. You can see an airport located there close to Zagreb. You can see also the city of Split and a number of others. In the movie Behind Enemy Lines that stars Owen Wilson, they depict the genocide that takes place during the ethnic atrocities of the Bosnian and Serbian wars, and Split is mentioned in that particular movie. Next, we have Serbia. The capital of Serbia is Belgrade. It is located in eastern Yugoslavia. The main religion is Greek Orthodox, and the Serbians are known for being fiercely nationalistic. It was actually an independent nation early in the 20th century until it was forced to be a part of Yugoslavia. Serbia is the largest in area and population, and it makes up 41% of the Yugoslav population. And here's a map of Serbia, so you can see how it's much larger than some of the other areas on the Balkan Peninsula there, and that it also has a number of independent areas within it, such as Kosovo and also Vojvodina in the north. Next, we have Bosnia-Herzegovina. The capital of Bosnia-Herzegovina is Sarajevo, and it's located in the central part of Yugoslavia. It is a very mountainous area. It has a mixed population, but a heavy concentration of Bosnian Muslims. There also are many Croats and Serbs that also live in Bosnia, and it makes up about 19% of the Yugoslav population. And then here's a map of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Next, we have Montenegro. Montenegro is a very small area of Yugoslavia. Its capital is known as Podgorica, formerly known as Titograd. It is a very small and sparsely populated part of Yugoslavia. It is mostly known for being Greek Orthodox, and it represents about 3% of the Yugoslav population. And here's a map. So you can kind of see some of these different areas here. Next up, we have Macedonia. Its capital is Skopje, and it is most likely the most southern republic of Yugoslavia. Most people actually speak Macedonian, which is very similar to the Bulgarian language. And Macedonia represents about 8% of the Yugoslav population. And it's very rich in ancient history, culture, and tradition. And then there's a map of the location of Macedonia. Next up, we have Vojvodina. This small area is independent and autonomous province located within Serbia. Its capital is Novi Sad, and it is the most northern part of the Serbian province. It's very agricultural based. It is quite diverse with 26 different ethnic groups just in this autonomous province of Serbia. And there's a map of Vojvodina. Next, we have Kosovo. The capital of Kosovo is Pristina. It is 88% Albanian, but there are also some concentration of Serbs, Bosnians, Gorans, Turks, and Roma that live in Kosovo. For the most part, it is Islamic, but we do have a small concentration of Roman Catholic and Serbian Orthodox people that practice in this area. And here's a map, so you can see that Kosovo is located in the southern part of Serbia. So a few key points. Bosnia-Herzegovina was the only province with no majority of one ethnic group, but many minority groups. Serbia was the only province that had many people living outside its borders. So they were Serbian, but they didn't necessarily live within Serbia. They lived in other parts on the Balkan Peninsula. So why did a civil war begin? Civil war began because many of these smaller ethnic Slavic groups wanted their independence. Unfortunately, due to the genocide and the atrocities that took place in the 1990s, 2 million refugees fled to other countries. Some came to the United States during that time. I actually had a number of students that came to the US and they barely spoke English when they started here. Thousands were killed, around 138,000 people killed. Many landmarks were destroyed. This was evidenced through the Olympics that were held in Sarajevo in the 1990s. Ethnic cleansing, again, that idea is revisited as entire communities were slaughtered and sent to, also many were sent to concentration camps. And Serb troops officially ordered and tried to remove all Muslims and Croats from the region, and many were sent to prisoner of war camps. This is a famous picture of a car that was somewhat popular during the 1980s and 90s called the Yugo. Now, it wasn't made very well, but a lot of people liked to purchase it because it did get fairly good gas mileage and it was affordable. For the most part, you could purchase this for around $4,000, where most cars were of this size were running around like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. A lot of people did have a lot of repairs with these cars because they originated in the communist Yugoslavia. That just gives you a little bit of idea of what that car looked like.